Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of our weekly tree farm series. So last week we had the super simple farm that worked with birch and also oak trees. But today we got a bit of an upgrade. We got still, in my opinion, a simple tree farm that works with 4 tree types. So we got spruce, birch, jungle and oak. The rates of this farm are also quite an improvement over last week's. So I would regard that as, a starter proper tree farm. Has some decent rates and is not much effort to build. I also made 2 versions. So the first one is a system where we spam TNT using TNT duping. In case you don't want to do that and want to use normal TNT, I also added a functionality to hook it up to a TNT blast chamber. Alright, so let's maybe do a fly around the actual tree farm. The wiring is rather simple. So the whole piston layout is pretty much powered by one redstone line. There's not much that can go wrong. And also if you look at the bottom, there's a bit of redstone here in order to turn the farm on and off and turn on the bone meal dispenser. Also the TNT duping system is hooked up. Let's actually just check it out. So let's head inside. You can turn the farm on by clicking on this barrel. It's a bit odd, but it's fitting in rather nicely. Then you would stand right here and place saplings with AFK while doing so. You just need to hold down right mouse button and the farm does the rest for you. Here on the side, this dropper would dispense saplings that are collected and also the sticks to you. Additionally, there's a hopper below that is getting unpowered for a short moment, so the additional saplings and sticks will be collected. Okay, click again on the barrel, turn it off. Also the TNT system will be turned off. A command block is now placing the saplings for us, so we can take a look at the TNT system. So it's really simple, we just push the logs out and then we drop TNT. The point where the TNT explodes alternates between around the lowest log and around the middle log. So there's just bit of wiring there. The T flip-flop system, we adjust the fall height of the TNT. So this is about 92 to 93% efficient. Some of the items are lost unfortunately, so if something like this happens then they might get blown up. In some cases they still just fall down. Let's take a look at the piston sequence inside. That breaks the leaves in order to get saplings back and pushes the logs out. So on the side you got stackable double piston extenders using alternating slime and honey blocks. Got one main line of pistons that just needs to be powered. And on the side you got more sticky pistons that are attached to the slime or honey blocks. There's also a redstone block right next to them, so they're getting powered. They get pushed forward, you got the block updater effect, so they would quickly push forward and retract again, then we can pull it back. And the way the update order works, once you pull them back they won't trigger a second time once they get into the default position. Okay, we just have to add a bit of delay between the activation of the 2 sides. So this sticky piston here would extend or gets short pulsed and pushes those log blocks in the middle, that pushes the logs out. Then once they get the second 0-tick pulse, they pull it back in. In case you want to farm oak trees, you gotta restrict the tree height in order to avoid getting some of the tall oak trees. So I just added a lever here that if you activate it, pushes block down, and now you can farm oak trees as well. Alright, let's take a look at the rates of the farm with the TNT setup. So the most efficient, also in terms of using bone meal, is using birch saplings. We get about 12,000 logs per hour. That's a bit over 3.5 double chests. Next would be spruce with 8,750 per hour, jungle 8,250, and the same for oak. Now let's check out the version that uses the TNT blast chamber. So there we take the logs coming from the tree farm and put them into the 1x1 block stream. It's required for the blast chamber to operate. So this takes a bit of extra time to run this block elevator here on the side. That's why the rates of this farm are a bit lower. But this is perfect in case you don't want to use TNT duping, because with one double chest of TNT you could get over 800,000 items. Okay, let's take a look at the rates. They are still, I would say, a quite decent range. Even if you run this with oak, you would almost get 2 double chests per hour. So Birch 8,750 is the most efficient, then Spruce 6,750, Jungle 6,500, and Oak about 6,000. Since a few people recently contacted me having issues with the TNT blast chamber, I want to discuss some of the issues. So the first one is, if you have built this without watching the tutorial, so just got Lightmatic or copied from the world, placing those blocks here doesn't need to be cobble. So those cobble blocks here is not optional, it's actually super important. If you would leave those out and start running a farm, then the sequence or the two sides won't be synchronized. And then in most cases it would blow up. So it's super important to place blocks here. The second thing is, there's a small chance that lightning strikes could actually affect the farm. So if a lightning strike hits near those observer blocks, the fire blocks that could be created might update those observers in the wrong moment, and then the piston sequence is messed up. So if you build this contraption in a biome that isn't a desert or savanna where no lightning strike hits, just place some blocks above it to prevent this issue. Then there might also be a third issue if you use actually the TNT duping version of this farm. Wandering traders could pretty much spawn everywhere. So if you make something mob spawning proof, it's not enough. A wandering trader could, for example, spawn right here, and the armors with it, and yeah, maybe move the minecart around and push it off. So if you use a TNT duping version, get some glazed terracotta, place it above to make sure nothing could ever move this minecart. And one last thing, since people were asking me about it, can lag break this contraption? So if you're playing vanilla, absolutely no. I've been playing on vanilla servers for several years now. We had contraptions that required billions of perfect redstone executions where one mistake could break the farm, and we operated those contraptions under heavy lag. Never ever was a contraption broken by lag. Also, single player is identical to vanilla multiplayer. But if you play on a modded server, so those are usually bucket or spigot servers, then lag can actually break contraptions. The issue is, in order to basically spread out the lag a little bit and avoid lag spikes, redstone executions on modded servers are sometimes shifted over to the next tick, which in case of pretty much any redstone contraption uses pistons is horrible, because then pistons would fire at the wrong moment and the whole sequence would break. So if you play on one of those servers, I would actually recommend to not use any pistons or redstone at all. Alright, now it's time for the tutorial. I'm gonna show how to build the simpler version, the TNT Duper here on the side, since I think most people probably decide to build that one. But one more note about the farm of the TNT blast chamber. Of course, the TNT blast chamber doesn't need to be precisely in that position, could be somewhere else. I'll also link the video in the description that shows you how you could hook up a block stream from anywhere to a TNT blast chamber. Then one more note, you actually need a roof above the farm in case you have skylight access, because saplings growing at the wrong time caused by random ticks could cause this system to fail here with the item elevator on the side. So that's why we need to make sure we got block and skylight level 7 or lower at the sapling, so it couldn't grow random tick based. So we also have the roof above. Okay, of course you can find this in the world download. Okay, now let's start with a material list. I'm gonna comment on some of those items. Of course, it doesn't matter if it's a birch fence gate or any other type of fence gate. I'm using scaffolding there in order to bring a signal up. If you don't have any scaffolding, you could probably also replace it with just a normal torch tower instead. Also doesn't need to be stripped birch log, just needs to be any log type there. And the dead coral fan type doesn't matter. Additionally, you will also need one minecart And it would be helpful to get a couple of non-movable blocks while building the block update detectors. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll through again so you can see it all. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna start with a dirt block, and next we build a dropper tower right next to it. Supply the one dispenser with bone meal. Okay, here at the bottom we can add hoppers that would refill it with bone meal. You need 2 because 1 wouldn't be enough. So we need a full speed. Okay, it's a bit up to you where you actually placed it. I just placed some chests with bone meal here on the side, but let's take a look at the farm, or the fully built farm up real quick. It's a bit out of reach. You could also maybe place down a couple more hoppers and maybe put your bone meal chests right here. It's a possibility, but yeah, that's up to you. Also, you might even want to use shulker box unloaders for the bone meal. It's kind of up to you. Okay, then let's continue with the mandatory parts. So of course we need to power the dropper tower. Just gonna place down a block here and 1 observer pointing into it. Then we need a node block right there to update the lowest dropper. And then we also need to go up with the signal to power the top dispenser. And to form the observer clock, also 1 observer pointing this way, and then an upwards facing sticky piston. Alright, then we need the dropper that would actually supply the player with the saplings. We place it right here. Now we can add hoppers that would collect the saplings. So they all, the end, would feed this dropper there. Okay, it also snakes around the dropper tower like this. And there we go. Okay, then we can take a glazed terracotta block here. And gonna get a comparator and a repeater to power the dispenser. Okay, then we also want to get a glass block, place it right here, and put a comparator on top. So in case the tree would grow, if there's bone meal inside of the dispenser, the comparator will turn on and this acts as the tree detection. Okay, here we also place down another glazed terracotta block, type doesn't matter. Could also be obsidian, it just needs to be a block that doesn't stick to slime or honey. Okay, then we can also go down like this, get a torch and some redstone dust, place the dust on top and a torch here. Then next we can get a barrel that is placed below the dropper there. This is also acts as the on-off switch for later, and we can place down 1 hopper here, which is getting powered with a redstone torch. This would be the player's AFK spot, in case the player doesn't pick up additional saplings or sticks because the inventory is already full, then the hopper will do so. Okay, then I'm just gonna, this is kind of up to you again. This will be the line where additional saplings and sticks are collected. You could, of course, now add item sorters and hook this up to your storage, or you can also dispose of it. Okay, we're also gonna place down another hopper here on the side, because some of the items would actually land on this one here, but this is not getting powered. Those items, if not picked up by the player, would just go here. Alright, now let's continue here. We also need to power this dropper, so it would supply you with saplings. Just gonna hook up another observer, powering the barrel, and also the dropper. Okay, now the on-off switch, you're just gonna add another observer here, points into a sticky piston, and here is an observer at the bottom. Then 1 block lower we got a block and a repeater to power the sticky piston. Okay, on the other side we're gonna add 2 repeaters. This one needs to be on 3 ticks, it's important. Okay, power the block. Then we want to get the trapdoor. I prefer using the iron ones because you can't accidentally open those, but you could also use a wooden one and place 2 scaffolding on top. Okay, so as you can see, this barrel here, if you open it, gives out a signal. If you close it again, get the second signal. If you want to turn everything off, just click on it again, and everything is back to normal. What you shouldn't do is spam this, because then it could happen that it's getting messed up. So there should be at least half a second between opening, closing, and opening again. Okay, next we can work on the piston layout. So here I need to place down a glass block, and then above that this farm I got stripped birch logs, so any log type, but dirt block would also be okay, because those blocks wouldn't prevent tree growth. Can't use normal blocks, so it has to be either a log block or a dirt block. Similar blocks, potsoil is also fine. Okay, so you want to place down 1 glass and 6 dirt. Then we can continue with the pistons, push out the logs. We need 7 sticky pistons here on the side. Then in the back, honey block and slime blocks. Okay, then we also need the redstone blocks. They would power those blocks later. So here we just want to go up 1 and place down the first redstone block. Additionally, we will need redstone dust on top of the hopper. Same on the other side. And this total needs to be 6 high. On top we can place a non-redstone block or just another redstone block, it doesn't matter. Okay. Then in the back we need 5 honey blocks, and then just always alternate between honey and slime. There we go. Same on the other side. And now you want to get fence gates that are open. So if you place them next to the redstone blocks, it's fine. The other ones you have to open manually. Same on this side, of course. So the good thing is, the open fence gates, they don't have a hitbox. If you would use full blocks instead, in a lot of cases, the items could glitch out to get the item elevator effect. Items receive a lot of momentum and then just get shot somewhere else. I was actually using different blocks at first, and that resulted in me not being able to collect enough jungle saplings to run this farm, so that's why I switched over to the open fence gates. Okay, then next we also want to add sticky piston pointing into all of those blocks. By the way, I'm using the tweak room mod, it makes it a bit easier to place those blocks. Can only recommend it. There we go. Now we need to add a second sticky piston that is getting budded. Well, it's a bit of a problem. We would need to place this redstone block here, and if we place down the sticky piston, then it would extend and it would cause issues, because then the lower honey blocks would attach to those fence gates here, so that is not good. In order to get around those issues, you can just place a block here. I'm using dirt. To be absolutely sure, I could also use a non-movable block, but it's at push limit 12 anyway. So now I can place down the other sticky piston. Okay, we need to alternate between sides, and the sticky piston needs to be right next to the middle line. And now we can place the redstone blocks next to it. And now we can remove temporary blocks here again. Okay, let's do the same on this side now. Okay, there we go. Can remove the dirt blocks again. I missed a little detail, sorry about that. The lowest line here needs to be full blocks a bit better, because saplings would land on top of this dispenser or the other block here on the side. They will just be pushed off by the full blocks. Sorry about that. Okay. Now we can continue with the wiring. So we want to place full blocks here at the back of each second sticky piston. And in the back we're gonna have redstone dust going up through those glass blocks. You could also use slabs, by the way. We have to power everything through those blocks, because if the redstone would power the pistons directly, so be one closer, it could update the block update detectors here on the side first. This would also break the system. Okay. Same on the other side, of course. So it's easy to place glass blocks than placing slabs. We also don't have unwanted light, like if you use glowstone instead. Okay, now we need to hook this up to the main line. Maybe let's add the sticky pistons first here. There's a block here in the back. There's a repeater on 2 ticks, powering the block here. Just normal dust there. It's here the comparator detection system. Just go lower block. Add a repeater. And go to the side. So here we need 2 repeaters like this. This one has to be on 2 ticks and this on 1 tick. Okay. Similar thing on the other side, but there we only need a single repeater. Okay, let's wire it up. Now this next. Just go over like this. If you want, you can test the tree farm now, just to see if everything was correct so far. Put a bit of bone meal in the dispenser. Click on the barrel. Place down a birch sapling. And yeah, it gets pushed out. Now we'll add a couple of glaze stirrer blocks here on the side, so we can also get the saplings that fall to the side. Just keeps them inside of the tree farm. Right, this high. Also on this side. Of course, keep this open so the logs can be pushed through. Alright, like that. And now we can also add the little switch in order to form oak trees. So there we just need to place a block right here. And we need to add some kind of a double piston extender in case you want to automate it. Technically, in case it's, you don't want to automate it, you can just place down a block here and this will work for oak trees. Okay, to make an automatic switch, add 2 slime blocks to it and 2 downwards facing sticky pistons. Then we go around to this side. You want to place down a glazed terracotta here and there. Then put redstone dust on those blocks and a repeater on 2 ticks on this block. So now I could add a lever to it to turn it on and off. What I did was actually to have the switch here at the bottom and a torch tower on the side, just to bring the signal up. But it's kind of optional. If you want, you can just go up and activate the lever. Yeah, it's not really mandatory. So I added the redstone torch tower here on the side, so this gives you an idea how it could look like. Okay, this would be kind of the entrance path to your tree farm here. If you want, you can also hide those hoppers with carpet. It's okay. And here you can turn it on and off. Okay, the next thing we want to add is the TNT duping system to break the locks. And there we're just gonna go up with the redstone signal using scaffolding. So we power this block, the trapdoor here on the side opens, and then the distance value of the scaffolding would change. And this also goes through a chain of scaffolding above the block. Okay, so we want to get exactly 21 scaffolding. Press, I think, left shift and place it like that until you're out. Now we can climb up the scaffolding, place an observer here, and then sticky piston pointing to the side, another observer there, block, sticky piston, slime block in front, and then observer pointing into it from below. Then we go over like so, make a little repeater clock. Just need 6 repeaters on full delay, going around in a loop. Blocks here in the corners. There's another one. Block in front. Then a sticky piston here, and a downwards facing sticky piston, downwards facing observer there. Okay, now we can build the TNT Duper. 3 slime blocks like that, then get a detector rail and a minecart on top. Add 3 slime blocks like that. Go around. Add a dead coral fan. Place it here. Then you want to get cobble walls or any wall shaped like that and place it here. Okay, then you can get the TNT as well. Place it under that wall. Then we need blocks on the side here to align it. On the other side we need glazed terracotta again, so it doesn't stick to the slime there. And we need to do a bit more alignment. That's why we need a fence gate there, which is opened. And the fence gate just causes the walls to connect to the side. So it's the only reason. It's open, of course. Then 2 more fence gates below. And now we can continue here. Place down a block right there. And add 3 repeaters on full delay there. Okay, then let's get 2 sticky pistons. We place down 1 observer here, the other one over there. Blocks here on top. Then a repeater on 3 ticks here, repeater on 1 tick there. Block. Then a bit of redstone dust there, 3 repeaters, points into a block, full delay for the repeaters. And then 3 more repeaters right there, powers the lower trapdoor. And this should be your TNT duping setup. As I mentioned earlier, in order to prevent wandering traders spawning, moving the minecart or something like that, you can also place some terracotta above. So this will make sure no wandering trader could ever move the minecart off the rail. Okay, now there's just one thing missing, the collection system for the items. Usually I like to make a 17 by 17 platform like this. Just need to go a bit lower to prevent items from being blown up by the explosion. So if you take those blocks as a starting point, just want to go down 6 blocks, then place your platform. It's kind of centered on where the blocks are getting pushed out. Okay, here's how you can place down the water. So this one against the blocks one higher, then keep those 2 free of water sources. Place water sources right there. And do it all around. Of course, if you're in survival, you can also use ice. You can also just place every second water source. Okay. Then, depending on the tree type you farm, 1 hopper wouldn't be enough to actually pick up all the items. So I would recommend to have some kind of a water stream system at the bottom that goes to your storage system. Okay, that's the whole tree farm. Alright, let's try it out. So you start it up here. by opening the barrel. Then you want to wait a little bit until you get the first TNT. There we go. And now you can start placing saplings. I'm gonna aim a bit to the right, of course. And yeah, hopefully the farm will work for you. So it looks good. The tutorial version. If there's an issue, maybe also check out the world download. Alright, so this was the relatively simple tree farm that works with 4 tree types, turns enough saplings, and also gives you decent rates. I think for most people this should be enough. Next week we're gonna work on more advanced tree farms. So the next one will also work with 4 tree types. It doesn't really work with jungle because it doesn't return enough saplings, but it will be significantly faster than this one. So around 3 times faster than this one. Alright, and 1 week later we're gonna finish with the universal tree farm. But that's it for today. Thanks guys for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.